everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're so excited today. We have our yearly tradition of talking with Amy Winter, who's the EVP and head of programming over at Lifetime. And thank you so much, Amy, for coming on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it seems like Lifetime's had a pretty good 2022, and we're excited to start their Christmas programming.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, cannot complain. We have the top documentary of the year with Janet Jackson. I don't know if you got
Oh,
to see
yeah.
that. And then we ran four-parter Flowers in the Attic, The Origin this summer, and that is the top new series on cable, on ad-supported cable. The only people who beat us were the House of Dragons.
Oh,
So
right.
pretty exciting. Like we ran that as as an event, and it really paid off.
Yeah, it's BC Andrews, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
those have done well for Lifetime.
Yeah, I think it harkens back to a nostalgia for all of us who grew up and read those books and sort of felt like a little naughty reading those books.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys are gonna be doing a whole bunch more of those next year, right?
Yeah, we've got we're filming right now on one called it's the Dawn series, which should be really interesting. It's about a girl who is kidnapped as a infant, raised on, she doesn't know that she was kidnapped, but by a horrible family with a kind of attractive brother.
Oh, right, right.
And then ends up going to school, and there's two rich, really mean bullies who are all over her, just bullying her right and left, and turns out they're her siblings.
Oh, no.
So more to come on that. That
Yeah,
is a fun
cool.
one.
Very good. Yeah, it must be kind of interesting for you've got your thriller cap on, and then, oh, we gotta change to our Christmas cap.
Yeah, it is. It's the naughty and nice of it
Yeah.
all. But I think that, like we always approach our Christmas season with a little bit of a wink, and
Mhm.
we love when the scripts come in with a lot of humor, because I just feel like they got a little bit more pep in their step.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So last year, you guys did the movie Every Day, and, this year, it looks like you're kind of doing it in groups of 3 and 4?
Yes. We took a look at our strategy from last year, and we decided that I think we did about 34 or 35 movies last year. This year we decided to do 26. What we wanted to do is we really wanted to upsize some of them, do some additional casting and focus around the premieres, mostly around the weekends. I think it was hard for people to keep up with all of our premieres.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even I didn't get all of them because I went to Disneyland on Christmas Day, and so the ones that were Christmas week, I didn't watch those ones.
Yeah.
I did pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it gets to the sheer volume of it. Yeah, so we just, there's a saying like fewer, bigger, better, and I
Hmm.
think that that's really the strategy we tried to apply this year.
Yeah. Because my favorite movie from Lifetime, one of my favorites of the whole season last year, Ghost of Christmas Past, was one that was just on like a Tuesday, and so a lot of people didn't see it. And so I've been doing my all this year to at least inform our audiences about that movie. And we've had the writer, we've had the star on, we've talked about it on one of our own friendship episodes. So I thought that was a really good movie. But yeah, it was on a Tuesday, and so it didn't really get noticed that much.
I swear you are like the greatest encyclopedia of all things Christmas holiday movies. It's just,
Yeah.
it's amazing to me. I'm just so impressed, especially because oftentimes we try to challenge ourselves to have breakout titles so that you
Uh-huh.
can remember them. But like you're like, wait, which one? Who was in that one?
Yeah. Well, a lot of times I'm like, the the movie that had Mario Lopez, what was it? Because the
Yes.
titles oftentimes have very little to even do with the movie, at least on Hallmark. And but that's very nice of you to say. It's they're especially the ones that I really loved, and that was one that I really loved. So anyway, we're excited to see what they come up with this year, and I think that strategy is going to work out better for you with the weekend hubs.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and like I have a list next to me too because I was so impressed by this. But I think that one of the other things that Lifetime really leans into, uh, acting talent that come with musical backgrounds. It's just like
Hmm.
really fantastic when you can put those two things together. And so the people appearing on our air, or involved in our movies this year are, we've got 2 Oscar winners, 7 Emmy winners, 3 Tony winners, 20 Grammy winners, and 2 EGOT winners with Rita Moreno in Santa Boot Camp. And we also, Whoopi Goldberg is an executive producer on one of our films too.
Nice. Yeah, I'm so excited about the Brooke Elliott movie. I've actually watched that already. I got the screener and I really enjoyed it. And to have her, and I think it was Country Christmas Harmony, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
But have her and Brandon Quinn together because they're on Sweet Magnolias, and I love that show. And they have such good chemistry. That was a really great idea.
Yeah, it's been
Together.
fun, like putting reunions together,
Yes.
like wherever we can. So
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about some of them that you have coming up. We have Reindeer Games Homecoming. This is on the 12th. This stars Sarah Drew and Justin Bruning, Brian Herzlinger directing, writer Sarah Drew. So she told us at Christmas Con when we got to cover the red carpet for Christmas Con in Anaheim, in Pasadena in August, she told us about this and that she was so excited. It was her first time writing. And, we love Sarah Drew. Christmas Pen Pals is one of my all-time faves that she's in. And I love Twinkle All the Way, which is another one that I love with her in it. And Brian Herzlinger directed.
he's so great.
Yeah, he's so good. He's been a big friend of the podcast. So this has, and Justin Bruning, hello. So great.
He gets more attractive with age, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. We were thrilled to get her back on the air. It's such a lovely movie. I have all the feels when I watch that movie. It's a lot of fun, but you really their chemistry and their romance, you really feel it. And the part about her dad, that just gets you too. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, it's a wonderful film.
Yeah. So this one, you have her high school crush who became a Hollywood star is now back in town, which sounds great. I love that plot.
Yeah, that's a good one. Somebody got famous, but then they're like, either, something's not going well.
Yeah.
Right.
You forgot about us. How dare you?
Yeah, it's pretty cute. But yeah, and I will say she's dealing with some grief and had a big old crush on him back in the day. That ended up being somewhat unrequited after there were sparks, but then it all kind of petered out. So yeah.
That sounds fun. And the Reindeer Games. So it's like a Christmas competition of some kind.
It is. It's like their annual event. starts with a polar plunge, which I want to say I will never, ever in my lifetime do. That does not need to be on my bucket list, but a polar plunge and then a couple of other things. And so like varying degrees of where their relationship is, you can see their competitive natures come out because they are not on the same team.
I have never done a polar plunge, but I do know I have a lot of friends who have, because I love open water swimming. So, but just in the summer. But I do have some of my friends who've done it, and I don't know.
No,
Ooh.
not
I would.
for me.
I mean, I guess some of them have like emergency and stuff on site, but I try not to do stuff that has emergency crew on site. Like in general, I feel like that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
You
See,
know.
I sort of feel like I've always said that if I was kidnapped and people wanted to get secrets from me, all they had to do was threaten to throw me in a pool. I would be like, I'll tell you everything.
That's funny. Yeah.
I don't like cold water.
Yeah, you would not like swimming in the Great Salt Lake then, which it's pretty gross. But
No.
yeah, so we're definitely, I think we all gave this one in our preview show. We gave this, me and Jax gave it a diamond ring for Reindeer Games Homecoming.
I love it.
Yeah, because it looks really good. So then we have Santa Boot Camp, which you mentioned. This on the 19th. Rita Moreno, Emily Kinney, Marissa Jarrett Winokur. It's directed by Melissa Joan Hart, writer Michael J. Murray. So it's fun to have Emily Kinney back doing these movies. She hasn't done one for a little bit. We love her. And Rita Moreno, so she is the Santa Boot Camp drill sergeant, which is hilarious. Mm-hmm. But and then Patrick Cassidy.
Yeah, she I just love the this is honestly one of my favorites too. Like I just think that Rita's performance is so warm but so no nonsense. Like she's just like, all right, this is how it's going to go, and really got a magical way of bringing around somebody who was like all business about the holidays into really understanding what the true meaning of the holiday is. So much fun. And I think Emily is great in it. And I love that. When I was watching the film a few weeks ago, my husband happened to be walking through that part where she's signing with the little girl who's deaf. And he looked at me, he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm getting all kind of choked up."
You're like, "Leave me alone."
The senior room, and then I'm like really starting to cry. Like, it's just a really, really wonderful film, and funny mm-hmm. and heartwarming.
Well, it seems like it would have to have a sense of humor about itself with the boot camp, Santa Boot Camp, and the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So this is like training because we have the Patrick Cassidy is the perfect Santa for mall magnate Ed Mancini's Christmas. So he's the mall magnate is trying to get the perfect Santa. So that's why he gets involved. Does he actually enter Santa Boot Camp?
He doesn't. Okay. Emily is hired to do this massive event for his company, and wants the perfect Santa for it, and so she sees that there's this boot camp that, I'm going to go there and I'm going to find out from the woman running the boot camp who's the best Santa out there, and that's who I'm going to go get. And Rita Moreno is the leader. She's not taking that at all. She's like, "Nope, I'm not telling you who the best candidate is until you complete the course." And so she ends up staying and completing the course, and there's a love interest there. But it's really cute because they're all training to be, Santas or Mrs. Santas or elves, in, the malls and whatnot. And so they're put through paces on, like, if a kid asks you this, what do you say? If a kid asks you this, what do you say?
Yeah. So was this like set in the like earlier part, like in the fall, so that they can have the Santa for Christmas, or is this like they're gonna have a Santa for next year? Is that the
I think it's in the season. It's in the season. So
okay?
it seems like it is. That's a really good question. It didn't even occur to me. Like logic in a Christmas movie. I think
They'd
it's
have the
sort of
perfect Santa, but it would be over the season
right. I guess they're for next year.
for next year. Okay, good. But that must have been exciting when you got Rita Moreno, though. Hello.
Oh my gosh, we were really thrilled. And I don't know, we've had this script for a while, and we initially had Betty White in the role. And then the pandemic hit, and we shut everything down, and we did not want to put uh Betty White in any kind of situation where we didn't know at that point in time in the pandemic. We didn't know what to do, like everybody
Yeah.
was sort of feeling their way through protocols and all that stuff. So very sad to lose Betty. She is a national treasure for sure, but we picked up another one, which we were delighted by. And she's just, gosh, I mean, did you see West Side Story? I loved.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. I was a little bit skeptical because I'm just like, what are they going to bring to it? But I said in my review that I felt like it was kind of like going to a great revival on Broadway. It's like, yes, it's all this familiar pieces, but we're seeing it again with new energy and new. So I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, beautiful, like sweeping, just gorgeous, and the costumes like unbelievable. Just
Yeah. The choreography,
performances. Oh my
incredible.
gosh, the performances.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, this one I think is going to be a ton of fun. I mean, it's cool that we keep having Melissa Joan Hart as a director. That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think talent loves working with her. She's just she brings her A game, and I love that the movies that she's on have that combination of heart and humor that we're looking for. So yeah, I laughed out loud, and clearly my husband can tell you that I cried.
All right. So then we have, I think this is your Thanksgiving movie on the 25th. Let me look at the calendar. Oh, it's the day after. So the day after Thanksgiving, stepping into the holiday, 25th, with Sherry O'Terry, Jana Kramer, Mario Lopez, and director David Kendall, writer Eliza Murrieta, and Peter Murrieta. And it's follows former Broadway star Billie Holiday, who meets Ray, the charismatic owner of a local dance studio. And after Billie volunteers to help Ray with dance recital fundraiser, their collaboration clicks and romantic sparks fly. So I think this is fun because, I mean, you have Jana Kramer and Mario Lopez who both done Dancing with the Stars. So they have the dancing chops.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and just a lot of fun to see together. The movie opens up with this just great dancing scene with the two of them. It's just magical. But we're thrilled to have both of them back again. I feel like they're beloved faces that people expect to see on Lifetime. So it's funny that they've both been on Dancing with the Stars, but his character, a judge on one of those types of shows.
Oh, really?
And then gets cut, grappling with that, and returns home and rediscovers his love of dance.
Okay, so which one is Billy and which one is Ray?
Ray is Jana.
Oh, okay. So the Broadway star was doing like a Dancing with the Stars kind of show. Okay. And then it's former Broadway star.
Yeah, former Broadway star. And she also, you find out in the movie, she also went to Broadway too, but decided to give it up and come back. And she runs the dance studio that he used to dance in. So she remembers him he was like her mother's prized student.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of last year, I forgot to say this earlier, was Christmas Dance Reunion with Corbin Bleu with the tap dance routine. Like that was so lovely. I I love it in movies, whether TV movie or feature film, when they stop to let the audience breathe. That you don't always feel like everything has to be about plot. That we can just be with the characters. And that was such a lovely moment. And it's hard to do in these movies because you have so little time. So just to take a second where he's just dancing and there's no real reason for it, it was very good.
I agree with you. I love that movie. That was the movie that my kids were most excited for because those stars, they grew up watching High School Musical, so
Yeah.
they were like all in on that one. So
Yeah. Just that dance routine was
I know
really,
exactly.
yeah.
It was spectacular,
Mhm.
like and just him, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't, like I said, it didn't really have anything to do with the plot. It was just a very enchanting moment, I think, for
Yeah, yeah.
everybody.
I think there's something really fun too, just when you see these movies where people and the dance and the choreography in this movie is phenomenal. But the way that you choreograph when people rediscover dancing is magical. And I feel like even though Corbin hadn't lost it, like he hadn't lost his love of it, it still felt like those personal moments where they just kind of like go off and do their thing. There's something very similar that happens with Mario in this movie too. And you, like you said, it's a great moment to stop down and watch them realizing, wow, there was a reason why I got into this and I love it the way that I do.
Yeah. 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 It helps you connect with the character and you just don't feel like you're always sort of being fed plot. Like you can just enjoy it.
That's important. It's an important point that you're making about Christmas movies too, because that I feel like that's why we lean so much into the musical talent and and the dance talent, because this is the one time of the year where you can really take those breathers and you can,
Mhm.
most people are coming to those movies to exhale and just go, okay, election season gone, all that's
Yes.
gone, like, and to feel like this season that has the most tremendous music collection of anything out there, and let those moments really play out, I think is a critical piece, and maybe that's was the start of why we gravitated to so many musical or dance artists.
Mhm. Yeah. That that makes sense. I mean, and it just adds like another layer of entertainment.
Mhm.
Is it's not only the story, which we all know these stories, but you have the story, you have the actors, but then you also have dance and music, and it just adds more.
Yep, agree,
Mhm,
agree.
mhm. And having Sherry O'Terry, that's hilarious.
She's so funny, and Mario Cantone too. Those they just add this. Mario's wife, Courtney Lopez, is also in it. She's hilarious, and the role that she's playing is really funny too because she's just like, don't let the door hit you when you get cut. So it's just a
That's
fun,
funny.
yeah, fun role to have her be in. So
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That'll be a fun one. Right. So then we have on the 26th, we have the Days of Christmas Eve. And this stars Kelsey Grammer and Spencer Grammer. It says when Brian Conway, a successful businessman whose family relationships have suffered, gets in a car accident on Christmas Eve, Santa gives him 12 chances to redo the day and repair the relationships in his life, including his daughter, Michelle. So that sounds fun. I mean, I love when these movies lean into the Santa just a little bit, at least. Just give us a little bit of magic.
This is truly a delight. When I was screening this cut, I actually had my kids in with me because I was like, I can't wait to watch it. I knew it was coming. And they're used to a certain type of movie from, Lifetime, which leans a lot into the romance and there's some stuff in here too. But I just knew that this was just his comedic chops are second to none. And this role is just so funny to think about a guy who just cannot get Christmas right. Watch him evolve. It's really his performance is masterful. to see, he had 12 different days to do it in, but each day along the way, you can really see, okay, like doing better on this day, and then bam, this other thing. It just goes fast, like the movie just goes so fast, because you would think like, oh, I don't know if I want to see a movie where they relive the same day. No, it's like it's beautifully done, and it's funny, and it is a great family movie, and her Spencer is fantastic. I think people are really going to love that. I think that's
Mhm.
going to be a real treasure.
That sounds cool. I mean, to have father daughter in real life leading is really cool too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there's a few things that they throw at you in the movie where you're not really sure like what exactly he has to do um to fix his fate. Because you're like, well,
Mhm.
that seems like that would be a logical thing, that if he fixed that, then if he goes out and he like donates all his money or whatever it is, that would be the trick that would fix it. And it's not.
Mhm.
He's got to try all these different things to figure out like what is really going to change my heart,
Yeah. Well, and we've had so many great time loop movies. It's a really fun concept. I mean, obviously Groundhog Day, but then even something like Palm Springs was
Yeah,
so funny a couple of years
I
ago.
love that movie.
Yeah, me
Although
too.
you half the time I'm like, please no. What am I
Yeah, it
doing?
is one of those like awkward movies where you're like, oh, but it was good.
Yeah,
There was even
I'm
one.
already.
There was even one on on Disney Channel last year called Christmas Again, with a young girl who keeps experiencing Christmas over and over again. So I think that it can be a really fun trope to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So all right. So then the next one that you have is A Christmas Spark that you want to talk about. This was on the 27th, and Jane Seymour and Joe Lando. Huge. What a great idea.
Right,
How somebody hasn't thought of this
right.
sooner is beyond me. But we have director Rhonda Baraka and writer Irene Donahue, who we love. She's great. It tells the story of recently widowed Molly, who decides to visit her daughter for Christmas. She signs on to direct the town's Christmas pageant and falls for Hank, the town's most eligible bachelor. So, yes, sign me up.
I mean, I can't even tell you the chemistry and between them. It's just like, I mean, how I don't even know how many seasons Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman was, but
Yeah.
it's still all there.
Yeah.
And they both look gorgeous. But the chemistry in this movie is just unbelievable. And it's really charming.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's nice to have one of these about like an older, more mature couple, should I say. Yeah.
mhm.
They usually, I mean, usually they're like in their 30s. So it's kind of nice to have
Yeah.
one a little older. So I think that will be fun.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Then the next one you want to talk about was on the 3rd. It's New Orleans Noel. And this is Keisha Knight Pulliam, Brad James, and Patti LaBelle. And it's over the holidays. Architects and polar opposites Grace Hill and Anthony Brown are hired to work together on the home of icon Loretta Brown. However, when Anthony learns Grace is celebrating Christmas alone, he invites her to join his family celebrations. So this is the one that has Whoopi Goldberg executive producing, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh, and the last one had Toni Braxton too. So it was
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah, fun to have familiar faces behind the camera for us.
Yeah, that is fun.
Um the this is just fun, like having it set in New Orleans. One of the things that we really started to look into was, trying to find like really interesting settings for some of the movies that we've got coming to, just to feel like people were getting out and about. New Orleans just looks lovely in the Christmas season. I think that this is a really, really sweet story about a woman who's really overwhelmed by family, not used to it, lives a bit of a nomadic life and is quite content being independent and on her own. And then this whole situation challenges that notion for her.
Mm. Which
And
is
it's really
nice because
fun.
a lot of times in Christmas movies, the idea of having Christmas alone is like, it's like the
Yeah.
worst thing you could do. So I think that's going to be kind of make her an interesting character.
Yeah, it's really a special and a different approach to it. And you can sort of see where she's just like, but I'm not your family. Like, why are you like, she's so it doesn't compute for her that like a family could be that welcoming. And Patti LaBelle leads the charge on that. It's like your family. you know so it's been it's a really sweet movie.
Well, and I mean, it has a real life couple, which is always fun with
Yes, I love
Keisha
that
and
too.
playing Brett James. So that will be fun. And I hopefully that we actually get to see some of Patti LaBelle because I don't know if you knew her, the Hallmark movie that she was in. She was literally in there for about 30 seconds and she opens the door to her house and says, "Welcome, Merry Christmas." And that was it. You were all like, we were like,
Oh no.
what? That's it?
Oh no. Oh no,
She
she's
opened the
altered.
door.
Yep, she's the mama bear in this
Oh,
one.
good.
She runs the business and owns this massive house, that gorgeous house that they're supposed to be trying to renovate. But they see it very differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun classic rom-com dynamic going on.
Mhm.
Well, one that I am excited for, you didn't have it on your list to talk about, but I just thought I would mention that I was really looking forward to it, is the 6 Degrees of Santa on the 13th. Because I love Catherine Davis. She is so delightful. I love Steve Lund. And the writer, Shannon Lattimer, is the one who did Ghosts of Christmas Past last year, which I said I really enjoyed. And this whole idea of sort of this re-gifting of
Mhm.
the presents and kind of the Santas. I think that sounds fun. So this one is definitely I gave it a diamond ring in the preview. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like they'll have good chemistry. And so anyway, just thought I'd mention that.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited that you're looking forward to that one. Another one that I it's a personal favorite of mine too is Merry Textmas, um,
Oh,
which is it's so honestly the kernel of this idea um, came from a story somebody told me that actually had happened in their family. And then I was talking to my friend who was a writer and he was like, I'm going to write that. And I'm like, you go for it. But the premise of it is that there was a family a big family that has a group chat on their text, and one of the family members changed phones, but the family keeps texting the old number, and the new person, the guy he's like trapped in a family group text and he keeps going, let me out of this. But if you want me to vote on wallpaper, I really like that second one. Eventually gets like pulled into the family dynamics, and it's just a wonderful
yeah.
a wonderful film. So
That sounds fun. I think that sounds like a very relatable idea, bringing it in to the because I feel like I've heard news stories and stuff like that of people who have I feel like last year there was a story about someone who it was a wrong number. It got invited to Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, and then they just kept inviting him, and it became part of the family.
I think I heard that one too. Also, I think they proved that it wasn't true, but like somebody accidentally like dialed Chris Evans. Did you hear that one
Oh
going
no,
on?
I didn't hear
And
that one.
they were like texting their but somebody had doctored the photos, because I thought, well, that's quite the thing. Like
Yeah.
that could be a really fun plot where like somebody famous is finding love incognito.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that next year.
Yeah. All right. That sounds good. Yes. And so you also have a new Kirk Franklin movie coming out that sounds kind of fun. And that was a big highlight also last year, I would say.
And
Kirk
honestly,
Franklin.
I actually went on set for this movie for a couple of days. Like hairs on my arms were standing on end when they were singing. It's it's just unbelievable. But yeah, they a bunch of people get snowed into a church, and they had big plans to do some other benefit, but they end up doing this benefit from this snowed in church, and the performances are just remarkable.
Oh, see, we'll enjoy it even just for that. And I thought that the one last year did a good job of bringing in themes of faith, but not having it be overbearing. It was more just about this woman's life, trying to be the associate pastor and coming in and all of that. And it seemed like that one, at least from our perspective as a podcast, that was one of the ones that we did an individual episode on, an episode recap just on that movie. And it was one of the most listened, downloaded episodes we had the whole month of December. So it
That's
seemed like that
amazing.
movie really caught on. People liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I often get asked like, how much faith or religion is in the our movies, and I just always say, first of all, it's the reason for the season. We all know this, right?
Yeah.
But really, it should be organic, and where it fits, it should fit. But you don't need to hit people over the head, or you're right. I think that like even the culminating scene, and obviously they're doing this whole benefit within this church and community center, and the whole culminating event is up on the altar, and it's beautiful, but
Yeah.
to your point, it's not heavy-handed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you want in a faith-based film is just to get to know the characters like anything else. And that, it's an important part of their life. But too often in those kinds of films, they get just so focused on the ministry that they kind of forget the characters and the story. But I thought that was a good example. And so I'm definitely, looking forward to it, to seeing
I
it.
agree.
Mhm.
Whenever I've done any kind of programming that's leaned towards the faith, the a faith-based component, I've always felt like it's so much more important to show the person and the lifestyle that comes from it, and how they are naturally, than have to like write words that speak directly to it. Like you sort of, you can, there's a light that kind of comes through, and I don't think you need to write prose and scripture in order to get it across.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I am really looking forward to all these movies we talked about. But if you had to summarize, I guess, in one final thought, what do you say to people? Here's why you should turn into Lifetime. Here's what we offer that's different than everybody else.
I think that the joyfulness of our season is slightly different than everybody else. I think that we have all the love in the world, but we have a lot of humor to go along with it. We're having some wittier, kind of bantier, kind of out there storylines a little bit more. And the other piece of it, I think that we're really proud of, is the musical element. The fact that we really lean into that joyous piece of the season. And inclusion has always been part of Lifetime's DNA.
Yeah.
So all those things rolled up into one. Everybody's welcome, and should have a fantastic time.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thanks so much for coming on our podcast. We love talking with you. I really admire you as a woman leader and of a company like this, of a network. And I'm really grateful you giving your time to talk with us.
Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do every year.
Well, do you have like the social media for Lifetime? Do you want to share, or how can people watch aside from the channel? Are you doing them online this year?
I'm so glad you asked that. We have, so we're on linear, then some of these will be put on our website too. There's a Lifetime app. They're on demand. We also have a channel called My Holiday Favorites by Lifetime that some people can access on their smart televisions. And then the Lifetime Movie Club, plus a whole bunch of other places. Like anywhere they can put them, they're kind of putting them out there with our branding so that people know that they're ours. But it's really exciting to see how we've been able to expand to meet viewers where they are. I mean, I hope that they come to the linear channel because, that's going to have the really, you'll get it there first,
Yeah.
right?
Well, very good. We'll have all that information in the description. And thanks again. I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye. We'd like to thank Amy for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with her. Please let us know your thoughts of all the things we talked about in the comment section or on Twitter. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. 5 stars. It really helps us a lot. It helps people to be able to find us when they're searching for Christmas podcasts. So please, 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 please help us with that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that so, so much. We also have the patron group, which just for a few dollars a month, you can help us to be able to keep doing what we're doing and get awesome perks. So please take a look at that. Also, check out the merch store where we have lots of new festive designs. And thanks again to Amy, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.